Hi everyone, welcome back to another gameplay of Infinitode 2. So welcome to another episode of the Tower Guide series. And yeah, let's continue with the different towers. Now it's the turn for the Splash Tower, right here. Here we go. So as always, we're gonna take a look at the different stats of this tower, the special stats, the main strengths, weaknesses, the efficiency against enemies, and then how to best use this tower and exploit it for the early, middle, and late game. And then at the very end, we're also gonna take a look at the normal research and also at the endless research. So let's go here. Now I'm gonna choose a different level because of the fact that this tower is pretty peculiar. So I'm gonna go to the level 5.2, but just to show you this tower, right? It's not, there isn't anything different. So first of all, we can see the cost of this tower is going to be 62. Same cost that the sniper and the freezing tower. Now, of course, this cost is reduced because of the fact that I have the normal research maxed. So at the beginning, this tower it's more expensive, but then when you can max the cost of the tower, it's going to be 62. Second thing, if we take a look at the information, we can see that the description is fire projectiles in all directions. So this tower is going to attack an area around it. And now the 5 different stats, we can see that on range, it has 4 out of 5. So pretty decent range. Attack speed 5 out of 5. So a very quick and very fast attacking tower. Damage 3 out of 5, not very high. Crowd damage 3 out of 5 as well. It has the ability to hit multiple enemies at once, but it's not very high. And then finally, agility is going to be 2 out of 5. Now the effectiveness against enemies. You can see that this tower is going to do 50% extra damage to Venom, Icy, and Constructor enemies. Then it's going to do the normal amount of damage to Fast, Light, and bosses. 50% of damage to Strong, Helis, Jets, and Healers. And then 25% only to Armored. Now it's worth mentioning the fact that this tower cannot target regular enemies. Now this enemy is one of the most common type of enemy they're gonna find in any level, in any scenario. And therefore the fact that this tower can't even damage regular enemies is a huge weakness in my opinion, and that's why I'm playing on this level right here, because you can see that there are no regular enemies spawned in this level. Another thing is that this is another tower with the anti-air tower that can actually target and damage flying enemies, so helis and jets. You can see only 50% of damage, but it's at least something. And then if we try to place this tower, right, you can see that the first thing is that you don't have any targeting. So you don't have first, last, strongest, nearest, all the stuff. You don't have any targeting. And that is because this tower is going to attack an area around it, regardless of your targeting. So it's like the freezing tower that doesn't have any targeting. It's going to automatically attack an area around it, and the enemies hit by the projectiles are going to be destroyed. Now if we compare here the different ranges with the basic tower, you can see that the range is pretty much the same, and then damage is going to be slightly higher than the basic tower, attack speed even slower, so less attack speed than the basic tower. Rotation speed, it doesn't have any rotation speed because we're going to see in a moment this tower attacks in a very peculiar way. It has accuracy, and it's instead of rotation speed, it has accuracy. That in this case is calculated as a percentage. Then we have projectile speed, once again not very high, and then the special stat that in the case for this tower is going to be projectile count. So how many projectiles this tower can shoot pretty much per second. So that's it for the comparison. Then the abilities down here, we can see the first one is going to be penetrating bullets. So you lose a little bit of damage, but then the projectiles can actually pretty much like the sniper, right? It's pretty much the same. Your projectiles can go through one enemy and can give 66% of damage to the next enemy behind the first one that gets hit. So, so yeah, that's pretty much how it works. Pretty easy. Second one, just an increase in attack speed, pretty easy as well. Third one, damage, extra damage, and extra projectile speed. So these are the three abilities that you can choose. You can only choose two at level 4, passive, and then level 7. Now, in my opinion, going with penetration bullets is always the best, because this allows you to hit multiple enemies, especially when you're grouped and they are very close to one another. It's very easy to do damage to multiple enemies, and therefore, even if you lose slightly a little bit of damage, but it's very nice, the fact that you can hit multiple enemies. So in my opinion, like, penetrating bullets is 100% what you always want to get. And then as second ability, you can choose between attack speed or fast bullets. In my opinion, attack speed might be slightly better, because in that way you just shoot more projectiles, and therefore it's higher the chance that you're gonna hit your enemies and you're gonna damage them. But also fast bullets is pretty good, because you're gonna, in this case, you're gonna increase the damage that you do, and you're gonna also gain projectile speed that before you can have a bit of research can hurt, not being able to, you're gonna miss the enemies because the projectiles take so much time until you can reach them. So yeah, penetrating bullets and attack speed, or also penetrating bullets and fast bullets, both of these combos are pretty good in my opinion. And then, as we're gonna talk about the ultimate, I'm gonna just show you what, in my opinion, is the best combo. Then at level 10, we unlock another passive ability. In this case, the tower is gonna do more damage to enemies that have that are not very fast, so that are slowed. You can see 0.87 tiles per second. So you do more damage to enemies that are slowed, and therefore this tower works very nicely with like freezing tower, or also with the flamethrower that's also gonna slow down with the cold fire. So with any tower that can somehow slow down the speed of the enemies, this tower just is it's a very good combo with splash, because they're gonna do more damage. And then final level 20, we have once again the ultimate, or we can go with 10% more power. That once again increases every single stat other than range and this special stat. The ultimate. Now the ultimate of this tower is one of the strongest in the game, in my opinion, and it works like this. Every kill enemy is gonna launch these spikes. Now the amount of spikes, the amount of damage is, remember guys, everything here is all these percentages, all these numbers can be boosted with a search, and therefore yeah, that's just one thing. Therefore the kill enemies can launch these spikes that are gonna have a certain percentage of the tower's damage, and that are gonna do a certain amount of damage, so are gonna do slightly more damage than the damage of the spike that killed them. So you can see that it's 1% plus 162%. So it's 1% of 162. So it's like yeah, it should be like 100 and like 64% of total damage, something like that. In my case with these percentages, and this is very good because you can create a combo reaction where a kill enemy is gonna launch these spikes that are certain that themselves are gonna do enough to kill other enemies, to spawn other spikes. So you can do like a combo of having a ton of different spikes like this, and yeah, so it's very much, and it gets also amplified because you can see that it's 101%. So it gets higher and higher. The more enemies you can kill with the spikes, the higher the damage that the spikes are gonna do. So it's one of the strongest ultimates in the game. But yeah, you just need to reach level 20 until you can unlock it, of course. And yeah, so that being said, I'm gonna just start here. I think I'm gonna just place it right there. All right, I'm gonna place also a freezing tower, just to have the combo, and then let's go. So first of all, you can see that the tower is gonna shoot in different directions. It's gonna shoot these spikes, and these spikes can, when they hit the enemy, they're gonna damage them. Well, in this case, it's gonna destroy them. I'm gonna just draw this. So let me draw a couple of stuff so you guys can see maybe a little bit better, right? So these are you can see the explosions there. So you can see that each splash is gonna have different spots where they're gonna shoot the spikes, and it's always gonna be the same. So it's 2 2, then 3 3. So it should be if I remember correctly, like 10. There should be 10 spikes. All right. Now here I'm gonna go with more attack speed, because one thing, in my opinion, that works like this, guys. If you're gonna go with the ultimate, always go with more attack speed. Instead, if you're going with more power, then it might be better to go with fast bullets. So that's what, in my opinion, you know how it applies. But yeah, it might not be like the best scenario. I'm gonna just I just say this because if you have more attack speed, there's a higher chance that you're gonna actually be able to kill your enemy with your spikes, and therefore you can create this insane combo with all the spikes. Instead, if you don't go with the ultimate and only with more power, then it might not be that important, you know, to kill the enemies, because you want to have the spikes. The important thing is like being able to damage them or to weaken them, and so maybe going with damage and projectile speed might be better. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but this is how I've been playing for this time, and it has, you know, it's worked pretty well so far. Alright, so just increasing here the freezing tower level 3, just to reach here this top side, right, and then just upgrading the splash tower. You can see that the upgrades are actually pretty expensive. So another thing that I didn't say before is that even though the base cost of this tower is not very much, but the upgrades are quite expensive, especially the last 3, I think. So so yeah, pretty expensive. So it's not very easy to max this tower. And you can see as well that as the tower levels up, you're gonna have all the stats increased, and especially the special stat increases as the tower levels up. So you have more and more projectiles. And here, if I slow it down, all right, you can see that more projectiles are thrown at the same time. So the spots from where the projectiles are thrown are the same, you know, these same 10 spots. But then the fact that or 12, I see maybe 12. There are 12 spots, maybe 4, 5, 6, yeah, 10 or 12. I don't see any. I don't see well. But anyway, the more this projectile count increases, the more projectiles at the same time you're gonna start shooting. So that's how this tower works. All right, let's get also this freezing tower to 6. Right, just one more level here. And also splash is almost level 20, so I'm gonna be able to show you how the ultimate works. Is very strong. So I'm gonna get it right now, right? And here, if I zoom in, you can see that the enemies killed are gonna launch these extra spikes. See these spikes? Those are the spikes from the killed enemies. And therefore you can create a lot of these spikes, and you can create a ton of damage right away. So you can create this insane combo with the spikes that is gonna damage a lot of enemies, and you're gonna have like an insane amount of damage. And yeah, that's why, you know, this is one of the strongest ultimates, in my opinion, you know, in the game. And yeah, now second thing, like how to best use this tower. First of all, the positioning, because this tower attacks an area around it. You don't want to place it like close to corners. Like for example, this spot might not be the best. I've just placed it here because I have already research maxed, and I know that here some enemies are gonna go towards the top side and my enemies towards the right side. So this is like a pretty standard spot, but the best spot would be U-turns. So for example, like right here, right, Right here is a pretty good spot. These spots right here, very, very good. See, when there is these U kind of shapes, turns, those are the best spots for this tower. And because you want to attack the enemies around it, so that's why these spots are the best. And you want to place this tower also pretty close to the beginning, because in that way you can like kill the enemies, you can make this tower a lot faster, and you can reach your ultimate, and you can use your ultimate. Yeah, don't place this tower like too far away. Also because the range, you can see even at level 10, you know, it's not super large. So you know, despite the fact that you can see the spikes like being able to reach almost the other portion of the range, but you know, they get more and more spread. So the closer you are to the enemies, the higher the chance you're going to be able to hit them with your spikes, and so it's just better. So yeah, don't place this tower too far away from the beginning. And then other than that, the main weakness of this tower is, well, the fact that the damage is not very high unless you get some modifiers or you get some research. The damage at the beginning is not very high. But this tower, you know, because of the ultimate, works very nicely for the late game. Like, look here at the combo. Look, see, as soon as I can pop some of these healers, the extra spikes that they're gonna create just destroy all the enemies much more easily. So yeah, and once again, this tower, the fact that it's gonna do more damage to the enemies that are slowed, it's also very, very good. And you can use like freezing, you can use flamethrower, you can use different towers to like combo. And yeah, the late game is not super strong, but you know, the ultimate definitely helps. And remember, always you can place like more splash towers, and you can combo them, you know. But yeah, the main problem is, as I said before, the fact that this tower cannot hit regular enemies. That is going to be such a common thing on most of the levels that yeah, it's a very huge weakness in my opinion. But yeah, other than that, I think that's the splash. Those are all the different stats, you know, how to best place it, and so on. So yeah, let's just end it right here, and let's go to research. As I said before, research, you can max everything here. On research, you can see here that the special stat is going to be projectile count, so you can increase the number of projectiles. And then, as always, all the abilities can be upgraded. Now in this case, you can also see with your level 10 ultimate that you can do more damage to enemies that are faster. So you know, the enemies even not that much slowed can also receive the extra damage, so that's why it's good. And then here you have the ultimate, you can see the chain damage. You know, the fact that you're gonna do more and more and more damage with the higher amount of spikes that you can get. And then here all the other abilities. And if we go to endless, you can see that in this case the tower gains a full new point, that is this one right here, is the number of splinters. So how many spikes you're gonna create with your ultimate. And you can see you can create 1 up to extra 5 splinters, and of course that is gonna make much easily to chain the damage and to therefore do a ton more of damage. So very, very strong upgrade here in the endless research. And as always, the fact that you can upgrade every single thing a higher level, and you can just make this tower, you know, level up more, have more passive levels, just have higher stats of everything pretty much. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and see ya. Bye bye.